So, përshëndetje të gjithëve, we've just started recording the lesson. In case some other ones join, then we will also introduce them. So, my name is Unçu Emelson, jam nga Shqipëria, tani banoj në Gjermani, and I've been doing this lesson since 2014. Currently, I'm organizing them once a month, and the next one will be held in the first Sunday of August, so you are welcome to join there. These lessons are completely for free and they're recorded and published on YouTube. You can check out my YouTube channel called Learn Albanian Online. I also offer private lessons if you're interested. The link will be in the description box of the video. Mirë, do të prezantohemi, we'll introduce ourselves. Let's do it in our native languages, it's more fun. So Nina, përshëndetje, nga je dhe pse dëshiron të mësosh shqip?
Hei, jeg heter Nina, jeg kommer fra Norge. Jeg er veldig forelsket i språket albansk, og kjæresten min er albansk, så det er derfor jeg har lyst til å lære det.
Shumir, how do you say thank you? Danke or something?
Tusen takk.
Okay, that's what you said. So Lenson, përshëndetje.
大家好，我叫 Lanson， 我来自台湾，我学习阿尔巴尼亚语，因为喜欢阿尔巴尼亚，也想去阿尔巴尼亚还有科索沃旅行。谢谢。
好，谢谢。Then we have Uğur. Përshëndetje Uğur.
Herkese merhaba, Türkiye'den katılıyorum. Bir süredir Arnavutça öğreniyorum, geliştirmek için Elson'un sağladığı bu imkanlardan yararlanıyorum. Kendisine teşekkür ediyorum.
Okay, that was very chabuk. I didn't understand it, but I heard my name somewhere there. Delany, përshëndetje, this is your first time here. Yep.
Hola, me llamo Delaney, soy de Nueva York. Yo quiero aprender albanés porque tengo muchos amigos y también un ex que fue de albanés y amo la familia y el idioma.
Muchas gracias, bienvenida. David. I cannot hear you. Yes, it's your turn, David.
Oh, what are we going to do now?
Introduce yourself in your native language, please.
Okay. My name is David. I'm now living in Warsaw.
And why
Nice
are you
to
learning
meet you.
Albanian?
What?
Why do you learn Albanian? Pse dëshiron të mësosh shqip? Just for fun. It's a free lesson, why
for
not?
fun, yes.
Okay, mirë. Okay, let me start screen sharing for those who cannot look at my screen. Those who cannot open the link, just a second, here. So you should be able to see it. Yes, this is the 18th lesson related to verbs. All the previous lessons are already on my YouTube channel, so you can check them out there. I suggest you to watch the previous lesson we did before doing this one, but in case you are too lazy to do that yet, just keep watching then. I will make it as easy as possible for you to understand. Yeah, so we will be talking about imperfect tense of reflexive verbs. It's a fancy term, but what does this really mean? We will check out when we conjugate the verbs and do the examples. So imperfect of reflexive verbs, of irregular verbs. We did the rest of the verbs in the previous lesson. And we will also do another mood, the subjunctive mood. The previous ones are indicative. This will be in subjunctive. We'll talk a bit about that one as well. And we'll do some exercises. So what a verb is, slide number 2, you already know that. And the several types of verbs we have in Albanian, different textbooks that will categorize verbs differently. I like to categorize them this way. It's easier to memorize them. And yeah, so in the previous lesson, we did already verbs that end in J. We did those that end in a consonant and a vowel. Today, we'll talk about reflexive verbs and irregular verbs, but in the imperfect tense, indicative mood. Okay. So we talked last time, as I said, about these types of verbs. We learned how to build them and when to use them. We said they're very regular. Yes, let's start with the reflexive verbs. Slide number 3. Here we have the reflexive verb in the present tense, the very basic form. We say unë bëhem, that means I become. Ti bëhesh, ai bëhet, that was a conjugation, right? We did that a long time ago, years ago, 5 years ago or something. And now next to it is the imperfect tense, the one we're doing today. And check out the endings the verbs will take, those in green. Those in green will be the same for all the other verbs. And check out reflexive verbs, they end in hem. Not all of them will have the H, many of them, some will not, but they all will end in M. So, un bëhesha, ti bëheshe, ai bëhej, ne bëheshim, ju bëheshit, ata ato bëheshin. Now, this is how we build it. And how do we use it? It's exactly the same usage that we did in the previous lesson, right? Yeah, we said we use it to build the past continuous tense. I was doing something, right? So for bëhesha, that means I was becoming. Bëhem, we use it a lot with bëhem gati, to be ready, bëhem von, to be late, etc. So let me put these words next to it. Bëhesha gati, that means I was getting ready. Po bëhesha gati, like this. Po bëhesha gati, I was getting ready. Po bëhesha von, that means it was getting late or I was getting late. Po bëhesha von. So this, 1 second. Yep. So late, that word, right? So po bëhesha von. Yeah, let's check out another verb, slide number 4. Here we have ulem, to sit down. So ulem, that's in present. We know already that how to conjugate it. We did it a long time ago, 10 years ago. Ulem ti ulesh. And in the past imperfect, it has the same suffixes, the same endings like from the previous slide. Un ulesha, ti uleshe, ai ulei, ne uleshim, ju uleshit, atato uleshin. So it's a verb that ends in M and it does not have that H. Okay, they're all regular, no exceptions, they're all conjugated the same way. Here we have 4 more, grihesha. So it's a verb, grihem, hem, to stand up, takohem, to meet up with someone. Then we have the verb pergigem, to answer. Pergigem, and the verb lahem, to take a shower. So the same suffixes, ungrihesha, tingriheshe, aingrihei. So check out the third person has an age at the end. Check out takohem, on takohesha, titakoheshe. We will check out some sentences in a bit and we'll check out in details how to use them. Okay, so we are just learning how to build it first. So, and this is for those who have not watched the previous lesson, how to use it. Mie pergigesha, on pergigesha, ti pergigeshe, ai o pergigei, on lahesha, ti laheshe, ai o lahei. So are there any questions so far on how to build it, how to use it? We'll check it out in a bit, but how to build this one. Any questions? Yeah. Okay, no questions. Yeah. So again, this is the imperfect, past imperfect tense, indicative mode of reflexive verbs. Here we have a list, slide number 6, a list of reflexive verbs. As I said, they all end in M. Some will have an H in front, some will not. Yeah, adurohem, to be adored by other people, adurohem, chlirohem, dashurohem, dejohem, vunohem, gabohem, gzohem, harohem, ketchkuptohem, kuptohem, bulohem, to be covered, msohem, to get used to it, pastrohem, peshohem, permirsohem, and pranohem. So they're all conjugated exactly the same way like the previous slide. They take the same suffixes. Yeah, let's, Lenson, can you conjugate gzohem in the imperfect tense? Gzohem, so the same suffixes we said like the previous slide. Go ahead.
Gzohesha.
Shumia, yes. When we pronounce it, we tend or we try to skip that gzohesha. You can pronounce it, of course, it's very correct, but just you'll not hear it like that. Gzohesha.
Gzohesha. Ti gzohesha. Ai ajo gzohe.
Gzohe, to?
Ne gzoheshim. Ju gzoheshit. Atato gzoheshin.
Gzoheshin. Gzoheshin, yes. So again, we'll check out in a bit how to use them in a sentence. Or if you already have a sentence or you know how to use this, you can just let me know, we'll read them out. Nina, can you conjugate, let's see, Permir Sohem, so to improve, to get improved.
Permir Shohesha.
Sohesha, yes. Sohesha.
Permir Shohesha.
Ja.
Permir Sohei.
Ja.
Permir Soheshim.
Ja.
Permir Shoheshit. Permir Shoheshin.
Yes, just pay attention. This is a s. Sometimes you pronounce it like s, sometimes like sh, right? So it's a s, all of them s. Correct. Or keç kuptohem.
Keç kupto şa, keç kupto heşe, keç kupto hey, keç kupto heşim, keç kupto heşit, keç kupto heşin.
True, yeah, correct. So that's the imperfect tense of reflexive verbs, correct. Here, again, we'll check out some sentences in a bit. We have another slide number statt, with some other verbs. Shihem, to clean yourself. That also means to hide, actually, to hide oneself. Dahem, to separate or get separated. Dahem, lahem, we said it. Grihem, we said it. Kthehem, to return, to come back. Pregatitem, to prepare yourself for an exam. Pregatitem per provim, for example. Urehem, to be hated. Zhgniehem, to be disappointed. Vihem, to start doing something, to set off. And zihem, to fight. So again, the same conjugation. On kthehesha. Ktheheshati. Heshe, I kthehei. The third person. Ktheheshim, you ktheheshit, atatot ktheheshin. Okay, the same way. Mir, any questions so far?
Yeah.
That was again how to build this and a short exercise. Now the usage of imperfect indicative. We said this one in the last lesson as well. There are three main usages of imperfect tense. The first one, slide number 9, it's with the past continuous tense. So I was doing something, I was learning, I was studying, I was, etc. So slide number 10, here are some sentences. Nina, can you read the first three ones? So the first sentence. And try to translate them if you can.
På lahesha kormera telefoni.
Lahesha, por lahesha, kormera telefoni, correct. So it's from the verb lahem. How do you translate the sentence?
Lahem.
Lahem is?
I don't remember.
Lahem, to take a shower.
I'm taking a shower. Something with the telephone.
So this is not the present continuous, it's the past continuous. I was taking a shower, right?
When my phone rang.
Yes, when the phone rang, correct. This can also mean when the phone fell from my hands or fell on the ground. It could also mean that, but mostly via telephone is the phone is ringing. I was taking a shower when the phone rang. Okay. You can leave out the me, it's still understood. It still means the same thing. Here. So the second one.
På behej von.
Or you can also say Bovonohe, yes. How do you translate that? What is bohem von? We said it earlier.
Yes, but I don't remember.
Bohem von, vonohem, to be or to get late, to be late.
For work.
Yes. So the third person, check out the ending, it's hey, if you remember it from the conjugation before. For bohem von, it was getting late. You can also translate it as he or she was getting late. We don't have a subject here. You can say he, she, it was getting late. The train, treni povonohe, autobusi povonohe, or pobohe von. Here?
Can you also mean like it's getting late, like the time is getting late,
Yes,
it's getting
yes,
dark?
it could also mean that. It is getting late, pobohe von. Okay, but in the past, it was getting late. In the present, pobohet von. Here, number 3, Nina.
Ne vstett på nöddertohe. Ne rog ere.
So vonohem was here. The verb is vonohem, the verb is bohem and lahem. Now there are some verbs, it's very weird to put them in the first person. So For example, ndërtohem. You would never say ndërtohem. That means to build oneself, to build yourself. So we put them in the third person more, ndërtohet. Në fshat po ndërtoj një rrugë e re. In the village, fshat, village, a new street or a new road was being built. So was being built. Okay, po ndërtohej. So in the village, a new road was being built. Po ndërtohej. Past continuous. Word number 4.
Dal nga dal po mësohesha me jetën në Shqipëri.
Shumë mirë. So the verb is mësohem.
To life in Albania slowly or gradually.
Getting used to the life in Albania. Mësohem is to get used to. Mësohem is followed by me. Mësohem me. In English we say to get used to. In Albanian we say to get used with. Mirë, dal nga dal means slowly. Avash avash. Yes, or number 5 as well.
Po tregohesh I sjellshëm me të.
Yes, the verb is tregohem. How do you translate that? Po tregohesh I sjellshëm me të. What is tregohem I sjellshëm? Or?
Tregoj is to show.
And tregohem?
Tregohem is to appear. I'm not sure.
Yes, so to show yourself as to be. So I was being polite with her or with him. Right? I was being polite, you'd say in English. In Albanian, we say I was showing myself as polite. The meaning is I was being polite. Or I was polite at her. Po tregohesh ai sjellshëm. Mirë. What was your name again? 1 second. Delany? Number 6 and 7?
Po ersohej.
Yes. Po ersohej. The verb is ersohem. So again, some verbs are not very used in the first person. It's weird. They're mostly used in the third person. So ersohet means to get dark. So how do you translate that sentence? Po ersohej.
It was getting dark?
Exactly, yes. Each time you see this hey at the end, it's always the third person. So po ndërtohej, it was being built. Po bëhej, it was getting late. Po ersohej, it was getting dark. Po vonohej, again late. So always a at the end is the third person.
The screen is frozen.
Let me. Okay, now you should be able to see it. So we are on slide number 10. Okay, let's again number 7 again the same.
Po keq kuptohemi.
Yes, po keq kuptohemi. Mostly with an exclamation mark. You'd say po keq kuptohemi. Do you know what is keq kuptohem?
To be misunderstood.
Yes, shumir. Keq kuptohem. And the opposite is with mir. Mir kuptohem. Mir kuptohem means to be understood by others. Keq kuptohem, to be misunderstood. So, po keq kuptohemi, that means we are misunderstanding each other. Here, but that's actually that's the present. So it's not. We are talking about past continuous, so leave out that sentence. But yes, that's correct. That's how you say we are misunderstanding each other. Okay. Here, if you want to put it in the past, we were misunderstanding each other. Po keq kuptoheshim. We were misunderstanding each other. Yes, you can read number 8 as well.
Okay. Nuk po përgjigjej telefon. Në telefon.
Në telefon, yes. So përgjigjem is the verb. And we said if you see this a at the end, and we said some verbs take the h, some not. So this one does not have it. If you see the a is the third person. Do you know what is përgjigjem? Përgjigjem telefon? So bie telefoni means to ring.
He's not answering the telephone.
To answer, correct.
The phone is not being answered.
Shumir. So nuk po përgjigjen e telefon. He or she was not answering the phone. So was not answering. Okay, so that's the past continuous, except sentence number 7 that was in present. For some reason I put it in present. I don't know why. But po keq kuptoheshim, that's how you'd say it in the past continuous. Past continuous is built by po and then the verb. Here, po has many meanings depending on where you put it in the sentence. In this case, it's a ing in English, working, learning, studying. Okay, any questions so far?
Elson, how do we know whether the third, like the ending of the third person, take the edge or not?
Oh, you don't know it. You just learn the verb in the basic form. So if you go to the list, slide number 6, yes, you learn the list of verbs. They all have it. Most of them will have it. Let's check out the next one. Pregatitem does not have it. So you just learn it by heart. Pregatitem. And another one is ulem, to sit down. Another one is pergigem, to answer. Yes.
So if the verb doesn't contain h in the stem, then there won't be h. Like
they will never contain it. Yes, correct. Here. And just a few of them will not have the h, but most of them will. Yes. So that was the first usage. We use the imperfect tense with past continuous. We mentioned this also in the last lesson. If you're watching live from YouTube, you can join the lesson. Go to learnalbanianonline.net, and there you have the link to join the lesson. Yes, the second usage of imperfect was the used to construction. Not I am used to the weather, not that one. But when I was young, I used to do this. I no longer do it. For an action that you used to do before, for an action that used to happen but no longer happens. So that's when we use the imperfect tense as well. Yes, it's also used to express an action that used to happen in the past but no longer happens or happens less often. And it's typically followed with these expressions. Par, that means earlier or before. Como par, long time ago. Kurisha evogel, when I was little, small. Evogel, feminine. Kurisha akoman shkol, when I was still at school or anywhere else. Kurisha viet, when I was 10 years old. So with such expressions, you use the imperfect tense. And let's check out some examples. Slide number 13. Here. And try to write your own sentences. Also with the past continuous, you can write one sentence using that one, and we'll read them at the end of the lesson, and the used to construction. So here we have the first one. David, would you like to read the first sentence?
Kuishan spita un peshohesha stodit.
Yes. The verb is peshohem. Pesho means to weigh yourself, to go on the scale and weigh yourself. So, Kurishan hospital, peshohesha stodit. When I was at the hospital, I used to weigh myself every day. Now I don't do it, but when I was at the hospital, I used to do it every day. Okay, peshohesha. So here, without the po before, it's not I was weighing myself. It's a used to construction. You used to do it before, but you no longer do it. Here, again, try to write your own sentences. You can write them in English and I will correct them. And if you are watching from YouTube, you can leave them as comment sections below. David, you can read number 2 as well.
Kuiste akoma I famshem athuroi ngat jit.
Got a jit, correct. If famshim in your are synonyms, that means famous. So, David, do you know how to translate that?
And when he was still
Ifamsham is famous.
When he was still famous,
Azurohe. So it was on one of the verbs from the list. Azurohem. To be adored. To be adored, praised, adored. So he was adored
by everyone.
By everyone, by everybody, correct.
He was
when he was famous, he was adored by everyone, right? Or he used to be adored by everyone, but he no longer is. Here, let's see, David or Kim. So would you like to read number 3?
Kur ishte I vogël, nuk pastrohej dot vet. when he was a kid or when he was child, he didn't used to wash himself.
Yes, to wash, to
clean
clean
himself.
stuff. Wash, clean, shumir. So nuk pastrohet. So because he was young, but now he does. So nuk pastrohet. Kur ishte I vogël, kur ishte fëmijë, when he was a child, fëmijë. You can read number 4 as well.
Kur isha në shkollën fillore, nuk takohesha me shokët e klasës gjatë pushimit. When I was in the beginning of the school, is that correct? When I was in the elementary school, I didn't used to make friends, something like that. I didn't used to meet my friends, my classmates. Jat pushimit for long time holiday.
During the break.
During the break.
That means during break. I don't know how you spell it. Is it break like that? I guess yes. Oh no, it's
break.
Break, right? Okay. So gjatë pushimit during the break. Nuk takohesha. I didn't used to meet up with friends, but now I do, etc. So kur isha në shkollën fillore, elementary school. Mirë. Ur wrote the sentence, or would you like to read it out, and then I'll write the other ones you said.
Ai ruhej çudodit kur punonte në bank.
Yes. So how do you translate that?
He was shaving every day while he was working in a bank.
Correct. So yes, it does not have a po in Albanian, so we wouldn't say like was shaving. So in Albanian, your translation is correct. So he used to shave every day when he worked at the bank. He used to, but he no longer does. So ruhem is to shave yourself. And you said the next one as well?
Dielli shiej çdo ditë vetëm në një cep të shtëpisë.
Yes, correct. Në një cep, or maybe you meant nga një cep. So you could, I mean, it's correct, but which maybe you meant the other one or this one? So the sun.
I meant to be no. Okay. The translation would be like the sun was appearing every day in a certain corner of the house, for example.
Okay. Yes, then it's correct. Yes. It is not. It is the imperfect tense, correct? It's not a used to construction, or it's understood from the context. Maybe when I lived in the village, or I don't know, when I lived somewhere near. Kur jetoja në fshat, then dielli shihej çdo ditë vetëm në cep të shtëpisë. Mirë. Okay. Any other sentences or questions so far?
I have one.
Yes.
Kur isha e vogël me adhuronte nëna ime.
Mirë, më adhuronte nëna ime. Or nëna ime më adhuronte, correct. So how do you translate that?
When I was little, I was adored by my mom.
Shumë mirë, I was adored by. So, or my mom used to adore me, or would adore me, right? Më adhuronte. Mirë. Any other sentences or questions? Okay, let's go to the third usage. So again, the first usage was past continuous, the second used to, and third is would. And I wrote like 2 short sentences describing this one. So imperfect tense is also used for descriptions, states of being, and for providing background information about the past. It's not about an action that started and finished at the past at a certain time. That is the past simple. So this is the imperfect tense. And here is an example. Lenson, would you like to read it out?
Kur ishim me pushime në Shqipëri, zgjoheshim herët në mëngjes. Pasi bëheshim gati, drejtoheshim për në plazh, ku laheshim dhe takoheshim me pushues të tjerë.
Yes. So let me just write out the verbs. Dretoheshim, laheshim, takoheshim. I put them all in we person, but you can change them. Dretoheshim. Okay. So zjoheshim comes from zjohem, to wake up. Beheshim gati comes from behem gati, to get ready, to be ready. Dretoheshim, dretohem comes from it. Yes, comes from dretom. It means to head to the beach, to head to the store, to head to. Laheshim comes from lahem, to take a shower, and takoheshim from takohem, to meet up with someone. Takohem. Yes, and they're all in the imperfect tense. So how do we translate this? Kurishim epushim in the Shipri, when we were on holidays in Albania. Zjoheshim heret namanjes, we would wake up early in the morning. So at that time, when we were on holidays, we would do this, we would do that. Zjoheshim. Pasi beheshim gati, after we would get ready, we would head to the beach. So dretoheshim per na plage, we would head to the beach. Kulaheshim, where we would swim. So lahem is to take a shower, but here if you say lahem na plage, that's to swim. Kulaheshim, where we would swim or bath or whatever. De takoheshim me pushues etier, and we would meet up with other vacationers, other people who are doing holidays. So we call them pushues. Pushime, holidays or vacation, and pushues, the person who does pushime. Right? Okay, so we'll read it once again. Delany, can you read out the paragraph once again, please?
Kurishim epushim në Shqipëri, zjoheshim heret në mëngjes, pasi beheshim gati, dretoheshim për në plazh, ku laheshim dhe takoheshim me pushues të tjerë.
Shumir. Pushues të tjerë. Correct. Shumir. So that was the translation. We would do this, we would do that, and then we would do this, and then etc. Are there any questions related to grammar or any weird constructions here? Anything not only related with the imperfect tense? Here, so we say dretohem perna, to head to. Dretohem perna plage. Here, dretohem perna, I don't know, perna spi, to head to home. We also say shkon spi, of course.
I think the screen is frozen again.
My screen is frozen. Okay, I'll turn it again. Takohem needs a me. Takohem me, to meet up with. Here needs a me after. Behem gati, we said. Okay, no other questions. Ishim is also imperfect tense. Ishim. Here. Yes, so that was the imperfect tense of reflexive verbs. As I said, we'll just review it quickly. Slide number 3. As I said, it's very regular. There are no exceptions, and they all have the same suffixes, the same endings, those in green, right? And again, some of them, or the majority, will have the age, and just a couple of them, a few of them will not have it. They're very regular. The third person is a bit different, takes a hey at the end, right? Hey, behei, lahei, zjohei, grihei, mir. Okay, so the suffix is very important. Then this list, try to memorize a few of them. They're very used, right, in both of the slides. And shumer and sishme, the usage. There are 3 usages, main usages of imperfect tense: past continuous, po lahesha, I was taking a shower, used to construction, when I was at this age, I used to. And would, we would do this, we would do that. Mir. Let's go to, we'll do another very short exercise. Or can you conjugate zjohem in the imperfect tense?
Zjohesha, zjoheshe, zjohe, zjoheshim, zjoheshit, zjoheshin.
Zjoheshin, shumir. And Lenson, dretohem.
Dretohem, dretohesha, dretohei.
Oh.
Ne dretoheshim, you
Sumir.
dretoheshit,
Oh.
atato dretoheshim.
Shin. Yes, tretohe shin, correct. Then we have Denani, Bohem.
Un behesha.
Correct. Bohesha.
Yo beheshe.
No, T. I'll type it out. 1 second. I'll also write it. Just a second. Here. Behesha. T. Beheshe. And the next one. Ayayo.
Behe.
Behe. Correct. Ne.
Ne beshim.
Beheshim.
Ne beshim. Sorry. You beheshit.
Correct.
And atato beheshim.
Atato beheshim. So, and we combine it a lot with bohem von, late, bohem gati, ready, etc. Kim, lahem.
Lahesha, laheshe, laheshe. The laheshim, laheshit, the laheshin.
Yes, the third person, lahe.
Lahe.
Lahe, correct. And the last person, David, takohem.
Takohesha, takoheshi.
Un takohesha, ti takoheshe.
She, takohei, takoheshim, takoheshit, takoheshim.
Shumir, correct. Yeah. So there are some irregular verbs. I mean, yes, there are some irregular verbs in Albanian in the present tense as well. Actually, they're irregular in all the tenses possible, all the moods, and these are the verb to be and to have. So we said in the reflexive verbs, we just said there are no exceptions, they're conjugated the same way. We also said it in the previous lesson that as long as you remember the you person of the verb in the present, you'll know how to conjugate them in the past imperfect. Again, I highly suggest you check out the previous lesson because I explained it in details. But there are two verbs that don't follow those rules. So this is the verb jam, to be, and come, to have. And this is their imperfect tense. It's un isha, so you translate it as I was. Un isha, ti ishe, I ishte. Ne ishim, you ishit, ata ishin. So don't confuse un chesh, ti che, I che, ne chem, you chet, ata chen. This is also the verb to be, but is the past simple tense. It is also translated I was, you were, etc. So that's the past simple. And this one on the slide is the past imperfect. They both mean was. Which one is more used? Isha, ishe, this one's on the slide. What about chesh, che, etc.? That one is, you'll find it, I would say 99% of the time only in books. And if you were to take an exam of Albanian language, it's important to know what's the past simple of that verb. Okay? And come the same on come, un kisha, ti kishe, I kishte, I had, yo tenía, en español, kisha, te kisha, I kishte, ne kishim, you kishit, ata kishin. And how do you use this? You wouldn't use this with past continuous. We don't put po in front of this, right? Not I was having, you wouldn't say that in Albanian. We use these to build the perfect tenses. Kisha punuar, I had worked, kisha punuar, etc. But we'll learn the perfect tenses in another lesson. Here. Okay, any questions so far? So only these two verbs are irregular. Here, no questions? Okay, let's go to slide number 17. We will talk about imperfect subjunctive. So imperfect was the tense that we just did so far. And subjunctive is now a mood, a type of mood. For those who don't know, a mood affects only the verbs, not the nouns, not adjectives. It affects only the verbs. And we have 6 moods in Albanian. So far, until slide 16, we talked about indicative mood. We call that type of conjugation, that type of usage, we call it indicative mood. Now we will do the subjunctive mood. We did talk about this like 5 years ago or something, but we learned them in the present subjunctive. We will do now the imperfect subjunctive. It has exactly the same usage. It has exactly the same structure, just that the verb will be in the imperfect tense. If you remember, you can also check out the previous lesson that we did, how to use the subjunctive. We said it, we use it with modal verbs, have to, must, should, can. We use it with fixed expressions such as it's good to, it's necessary, it's important, it's dangerous. We use it to build the future, .shkoj, .punoj. We use it when there is a verb in the sentence and you want to use a second verb, we use subjunctive. So that was what we did a long time ago. Exactly the same usages are also here. I wrote them on the slide. So subjunctive, the verb will always have a t in front. Okay, so to the conjugations we did so far until slide 16, just put a t in front and you get this mood, this construction, subjunctive. And how do you use it if you put a t in front? So you use it with a modal verb such as doja, I wanted, mund, duhet, kisha nevoi, so mund is can, duhet should, must, have to, kisha nevoi, I needed, kisha mundsi, I could. So in Albanian language, actually only mund and duhet are considered as modal verbs, but since you have want in English and need, etc., then that's the translation for them in Albanian. So here are some questions, some sentences. Doja t'ju bëja një pyetje. I wanted to ask you a question. So bëja, we did this in the previous lesson. It's an imperfect. Bëj, bëja, ti bëje, ti bënte, right? So this is the subjunctive of all verbs, not only reflexive, what we did in the previous slides, of all the verbs. So, and here we have the t in front. Lenson, what is that you? What is that apostrophe t and you? We did talk about this.
It's like shrinking of t and a pronoun or something?
Yeah, the t, which we just said from subjunctive, right? That's the t from there. We just said we just put a t in front of the verb. And what is the you?
Is the object.
Yes, it is the, I wanted to ask you a question, you in English, that's the you. So that t from the subjunctive that we said, plus the you, they are shrinked, they are melted in one word, which is Q, like that. Okay. Let's remove it, let's make it simple. Let's remove the you. Let's just say I wanted to ask a question instead of I wanted to ask you a question. And this is how you'd say it. Doja të bëja një pyetje. I wanted to ask a question. So you can leave that one out if you find it too confusing. Again, subjunctive has a t in front. The verb will have a t. The verb is bëja. Put a t in front, and we use it with the modal verb doja. Doja të bëja një pyetje. I wanted to ask a question. Okay. Check out the second sentence. Tell me.
Is this sentence correct? Kur doja të shkoja në shtëpia e shokut, unë u takova me atë në rrugë.
Yes, it's very correct. Kur doja të shkoja në shtëpinë e shokut, what do you say? I met her on the street?
Yes.
E takova në rrugë. Correct. So kur doja të shkoja, yes, when I wanted to go to the house of my friend. To the house of my friend, you can shorten it in two words. Kur doja të shkoja te shoku. It's understood at his place, at his house. Here. So there we have doja të shkoja. So imperfect subjunctive të shkoja. It has a t in front. Të bëja was the other one. So check out the next sentence we have there. Mund të shkoje vetëm. So mund is can or could. So mund të shkoje vetëm. Could you go there alone? Right? Mund të shkoje vetëm. Could you go there alone? So this in green is not the conjugation we did today. These are not reflexive verbs. Do we have any here? Did I put any? I didn't put any. Oh, here we have one. Yes, we have it here. In the very last sentence. These are all, we mentioned them from the previous lesson. Here, number 3, or can you read that and tell me what is ta?
Nuk kisha mundësi ta shfletoja librin.
The verb is shfletoj. Shfletoj means to browse a book, to go through the pages, page by page, to turn the pages, to browse. So ta is?
T plus accusative E.
And what is the t?
Subjunctive.
Yes, so we said subjunctive has a t in front. It's a t. And some math now, some math that doesn't make sense. A means it. So in this case, the book. And if t and a are next to each other, they are melted in one word, ta. It doesn't make sense, but that's how it is now. So you'd say ta, you'd never say te. Nuk isha mundësi ta shfletoja librin. And there is a subjunctive ta. I didn't have the chance to browse the book, to turn the pages, to look at the book. I didn't have a chance. Nuk isha mundësi. Okay, so with modal verbs, those there, doja, mund, kisha nevojë, etc. And the second usage with fixed expressions. Do të ishte mirë, it would be good, or it would have been good. Do të ishte e rëndësishme, it would be important. Do të ishte e nevojshme, it would be necessary. For example, do të ishte më mirë, sikur të flisje me të. It would have been better if you were to speak with him. So here we have të flisje. Sikur is optional, you can leave it out. We use it, yes, in such expressions. That's actually a conditional mood. We call it, it's another mood, not subjunctive, it's conditional, but that's another thing. But check out the part in green, the flisje. Okay, it would have been good, it would have been important, necessary, and then subjunctive, the flisje me të. Do të ishte e rëndësishme të haje më shumë, it would be important to eat more, and things like that. So with fixed expressions was the second usage. The third usage, so we said Albanian language has moods, mood, like this, bad mood, good mood, mood. 1 second, here. And this mood affects only the verbs will change. And we said there are 6 moods. Indicative mood, which is the one we did when we started the lesson until slide 16. That was called indicative. Subjunctive mood, which is this one we are doing now. That's how it's called. That's the name of it, subjunctive. And now, if you put a do in front of the subjunctive, you get another mood, which is called conditional. Conditional mood. Just put do in front of the imperfect subjunctive. That's how we build it, conditional mood. So, do ta kisha pyetur, por nuk më erdhi mundësia. We also say nuk më ra mundësia. Yes. I would have asked him, but I did not have the chance. So it's a condition. If I had the chance, I would have asked him, right? So where is the subjunctive? The subjunctive here? It's ta kisha, that part there. Ta is the same usage from ta shfletoj, t plus a, subjunctive plus it, if or him or her. And do in front. So do ta kisha, that's the conditional mood, we call it. It's one of the 6 moods. You build it simply by putting do in front. Okay, the fourth usage, if you have a verb in the sentence and you want to use a second verb, that's when you use the subjunctive. For example, filloi të binte shi, it started to fall, rain, so it started to rain. Here we have the subjunctive, të binte, one verb after the other. Po vazhdonte të fliste pa kuptim. Here we have the subjunctive. He continued speaking nonsense. Pa kuptim means nonsense. Here we have two imperfects there. This is past continuous. The imperfect, we said it. One of the usages is past imperfect. And the other one, të fliste from the subjunctive. Okay, here we have one with reflexive. It's the only sentence I built here. U përpoqa të përshtatesha me kohën e ftohtë. So përshtatem, mësohem is actually pretty much the same. Mësohem means to get used to. Përshtate means to adjust. I tried to adjust with the bad weather. So I tried to get used to the bad weather, basically. Okay, përshtatesha. So these in green are all subjunctives, but in the imperfect tense. Any questions? Okay. Here, let's check out slide number 19. It's the last slide, so with exercises. So the first one, I will say some names now from you and try to keep them in mind. So we have Lenson, Ur, Kim, number 4, David, number 5, I have to, Mateo, let's say Mateo, okay? It's easier to memorize, Mateo. Number 6, Nina. Number 7, we'll see who does best. We'll do number 7. So I'll give you 2 minutes and then let me know when you're ready so we can do it. Okay. So what you'll do here is check out the verbs. They are all reflexive, except number 7. You'll put them in the imperfect tense and then try to translate them. Some have modal verbs. So we need the subjunctive that we just did on slide 18.
Ai dotă nisei părnetiran.
Okay, one second. Ai dotă nisei părnetiran. Yes, correct. So ai dotă nisei. So can you analyze it? Can you tell me what you did there?
He would set out for Tiran.
Not he would. I don't need. Yes. Yes, correct. Shumir. I don't need to Tirana. He would leave to Tirana, and then it's a conditional mood. We said, right? If you have daughter, and the condition is it's either understood from the context. I don't need to say but something, etc. Correct. If you want to say he wanted to leave, that's actually what I wanted to write in the sentence. He wanted to leave to Tirana, then I don't te nisei părna Tirana. Because I'll do a whole lesson about conditional mood, but that's the sentence I wanted to write there. Don't te. The previous one is he would leave to Tirana. The second one is he wanted to leave to Tirana. Here, who is ready for the next one?
Dia li nuk donte të bëhej gati për shkollë.
Shumë mirë, nuk donte të bëhej gati për shkollë. Can you analyze it? Can you tell me what you did there?
The meaning or
yes,
të bëhej.
Translate it.
The boy didn't want to get ready for the school.
For school, shumë mirë, correct. So it is the subjunctive. It has a t in front. And why did we use a t? Because we have one verb and we are using a second one. Or we have a modal verb, we are using a second one. That's when we use subjunctive. Here. Yes, who is next or who wants to do another one?
The first sentence. Netuhet visheshim trash.
Visheshim. Netuhet visheshim trash. How do you translate it? So trash means thick. So thick clothes or heavy clothes. So how do you translate it?
We should wear heavy clothes.
Shumir, we should, correct. Another way to say this, and it's more used in spoken Albanian, we would say neve na udesh të visheshim trash. So na udesh. Yes, that one you translate it as like we had to, or we should, or we had to, or we must. Here, it's another way of saying that ne duhet. Another way is, which you'll find it mostly in books, is the imperfect of duhet, which is, what was the third person? Do hey. So with a hey ending. This is you're gonna encounter it very rarely. What you basically, because duhet is by itself also a reflexive verb. Duhem is the first person. So what you did is put duhem in the imperfect tense. So you will encounter that form as well.
So is this sentence in present actually? Duhet?
Yes, that's in present. So if you say duhet, you are because I said that Albanian language has only 2 modal verbs. It's mund and duhet. If you treat it as modal verbs, it will never change the form. But if you treat it as a reflexive verb, then it is do hem. So you conjugate it, etc. But the meaning is the same. Here, as a model verb, they will never change the form. Okay, what else? Who's ready? Who is almost ready?
I don't know if this is, I don't think this is very fun.
Okay, yes, let's try.
Kur isha ne gymnas, Maresha me sport.
Yes, that's correct. How do you translate it?
When I was in or at, I'm not sure what gymnas is.
Gymnasium is after you finish elementary school. I mean, it's one of the schools. It's different in different countries. It's after you finish the 9th year of school, at least in Albania. The
High
9th. Yes, okay, high school.
So when I was in high school, I'm not sure what it means.
So merem, merem me. That means to occupy yourself with.
Sport. Okay.
So merem takes me after, just like we said to get used to mesohem me. So merem me. When I was in high school, I used to do sports. That's how you translate in English. Or I would occupy myself with sports. Okay. Meresha is correct. I would do that at that time, or I used to do it. Who else is ready? Number 4.
I am ready.
Yes.
But the screen is frozen too.
Yes. I was 1 second here now.
I have the parase lahesha haya menjes.
Yes. I forgot to mention something. Parase. Did I put it in? No. Okay. Another usage, number 5. We use subjunctive with temporal. We call them temporal conjunctions. So these are conjunctions linking words that indicate time, such as para se, before. So we use subjunctive. Para se, just with the t. The t was missing. Para se te lahesha. I am in Jess. Here. Who had number 4?
Toya magne telephone po ayo po lahi.
Lahe. Lahe is correct. So we have one verb. We want to use another verb. So we needed the doya te meria. Un meria. This is from the previous lesson. It's not merem. It's meria. Doja të merren në telefon pra e po lahe. If you want to specify, because the sentence means I wanted to call, but she was taking a shower. If you want to say I wanted to call her, then that becomes ta. Doja ta merja në telefon por po lahe, por ajo po lahe. Yeah, Lenson, you had a question about duhet, so let's do number 7 with you.
Duhet të.
Let's say first person.
First person. Duhet të. Wait, punoja? I think.
Punoja. And it's from the previous lesson. Duhet të punoja orar shtes. Orar shtes means overtime. You can say orar shtes or shtes. Duhet të punoja. Yes, I had to work overtime. You can also say duhet të punoja, and then you are treating duhet as a model, as a reflexive verb. You can also say mu desh të punoja, but this one means more like I had to, or I was asked to, or I had to do it. Mu desh të punoja. Mir, okay, so that was it. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. Since duhet does not change, so if I say if I put the subjunctive here in present, it would be duhet të punoj?
Yes. So yeah, exactly. So duhet does, if you treat it as a modal verb, it doesn't change. It doesn't matter present, past. It will not change the form.
But like the meaning will be different, right? Duhet të punoj and duhet të
punoja. The meaning depends on the verb after, because this is a helping verb. This is a modal verb. It needs a verb after, so you give the tense, the meaning to it.
So one is in present and one is in the past.
Yes, let me write the sentence in present. In present, it would be like this: duhet të punoj orështes. I have to work overtime. I had to work is number 7. I mean let's say 8 here and 7 there. Here, the previous one number 7 means I had to work overtime. The second one means I have to work overtime, and we know it from the main verb punoj. Okay.
Yep.
你有别的问题吗？
没有。
Wow. Any other questions, Nina?
I didn't know that whether you mentioned this or not. I mean, I haven't got the difference in the usage of beya or behesha. It's like the difference of the usage.
One is behem, to become, and one is be, to make, to do. So behem becomes behesha. Be becomes beya. One is reflexive, one is active verb. Today we talked about reflexive verbs. In the previous lesson, you can check out the video we talked about active verbs. So be is one of them there. Here, other questions? Here. So I thank you all for joining the lesson, and the next one will be next month, sometime in August. And yeah, if you'll have any questions, you can leave a comment below on YouTube. Thank you again, falimderit shumë dhe shpresoj t'ju shikoj në mësimin tjetër. Mirë?
Faleminderit.
Ju pafshim.